So
Decent.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Podcast.
Do we look at the camera or not? Is that like
That's a
podcast
bit
101?
orcs.
Yeah.
You can do it,
To
but
not look. It looks like you're trying to sell something like the first one when you were selling the revival.
oh yeah.
It's good to see you've watched.
I have.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate
I
it.
have.
You with the view, huh?
I was the view. I was the like. The first subscribe.
Nice. I think so. Welcome to podcast 3.
3.
It's good. The feedback's been good, getting better. This one we're going to try and get a bit shorter because basically we looked at the older analytics and people were dropping off.
Dropping off, getting bored after.
Which is a shame. 'Cause
A little while.
is fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what we best do is we obviously have a guest. I think you introduce yourself and then we'll cover off the obvious topics to get them out of the way and then we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Darius got an introduction from you guys.
It did actually.
More
so
did.
me,
Yeah,
more so me,
we've
but
got one for you actually.
No, actually, shall I introduce myself?
I've written it. No, go on.
No, go on. I'm intrigued
Oh.
now.
Our guest today is Emily Lloyd Langley. She has been with the company for many years now. Many roles.
Many.
Many. Yeah.
It's probably quicker to name roles she hasn't had.
Probably.
Yeah. Director.
Yeah, that's it.
Which-
Literally.
Yeah.
Which
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. No, but many roles, done quite a few things. Bit of a success story of you, really. Started on as maternity cover, is that what it's
Yep,
called?
that's what it was.
And then you were supposed to sort of go,
Oh,
and you've not.
no.
You're still here. So well done. Excuse me. Let's get the obvious sort of things out of the way. There's a few things I just want to cover off. You've obviously got married. That's going to
I
come
have.
up. So that's quick. We've done that one. Yeah. You got 2 dogs. Yeah. Let's move on from there. And you're a home Insta influencer. Let's move on. Cool. At this point,
To not mention ever again in
not
this
in the
podcast.
not in the podcast.
Yeah,
There's no
you two
chance.
hear about that now.
I was about to say, there's no
Yeah.
chance we're not going to hear about that ever again.
True. Yeah.
What did you do here?
Chance would be a fine thing.
I know, it
but,
would be. Yeah.
What's that?
So chance would be a fine thing. But,
Chum.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what do I do here? Well, am I talking about my mix of roles now or just my main one?
Let's go with your main one.
Let's go with the
Yeah.
main one. I feel like I don't know where to look.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, I know, but I feel weird when I'm looking at Greg because the camera's right there. Do you know what I mean?
The best thing to do is just look at the one that's talking.
Yeah, me. I can't look at myself. No, so
This has gone well.
Look at the camera.
HR, Head of People and Culture, which is a very fancy, smanchy name, but yeah. All the HR processes, culture of everyone here, company culture, values, recruitment, in a nutshell, really. Yeah.
That was me trying to be smooth to say, can you get your hair off the mic?
Oh, okay.
It didn't really work. It looked like I just had some sort of weird tick, didn't it?
Yeah, I've been doing that for what, 2 years now? I think about 2 years. Maybe
Yeah,
2 and a
probably.
bit.
Probably 2
Maybe-
in that role
Yeah.
specifically. Yeah.
I've
Probably
enjoyed it.
merged
Yeah.
into it somehow. Just gradually
Yeah.
went into that role. We probably just said, "Can you put these documents together?" And then all of a
Next
sudden
thing
we
you
were
know.
like, "We need loads more of those." And
Yeah.
Job
oh
number
no, we need
15.
to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you've just taken that around with it. pretty
Yeah,
much.
but I'd say easily my favourite job here, which
Yeah,
is good.
good.
So I feel like I am settled as where I am now.
Perfect.
Which is good because
Yes.
the marketing job lasted 3 days.
No, doing that now again, kind of.
Yeah, imagine that's how desperate we were. We gave it to you.
True.
You were incapable of doing it. We've gone round everyone else at this food and come back to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad, was it? I think we should try again. Let's try again.
Yeah, it's been alright so far.
3 posts later.
True.
Yeah, literally.
Success.
Yeah.
What makes a good culture?
Happy staff, engaged staff, staff that feel like they're being listened to by management and senior leaders of the team. I think that's important. I think staff feeling like they have a voice, it's a massive thing in them being happy where they're working. There's a lot of things really. There's like a lot of things that kind of make it up. Sometimes even little things like praise and recognition goes a long way into people feeling, I was going to say C-stat. I have a thing as well for the people on the
You can
podcast.
address
We
the
may
cam-
as well address.
You can address the camera for this
We
one.
may as well. So E-stat and C-stat It's not actually a stat, it's a sat. But I don't know why. I always thought it was because it's statistic.
I think I think that if you ever got famous for your Instagram, you should go on Sesame Street and definitely do the letter T.
For sure, yeah.
I can't, yeah.
Put it into anything.
Something else the other day and it just had a T in it.
Yeah, and then I can't pronounce
you
T.
doing?
I can't pronounce T properly either in words.
Really?
I've got a little bit of a lisp.
I never know.
Lisp.
Is that right? That's
No,
not right.
genuinely do.
I
Count takes
pretty-
piss me all the time.
We can't swear on this podcast. But
We'll have to bleep that. You can bleep
Callum
that out.
takes the mick out of me all the
they
time.
heard it the first time.
No.
You've just
Okay.
demonetised.
Sorry. Sorry.
Monetisation journey.
Sorry.
You were so close.
Sorry. Apologies.
Unbelievable. But no, we've known you for half a decade. And would you have ever said Emily had a lisp?
No, probably.
No. No, this is
at all.
made up. What's that thing? I'm not suggesting your husband is gaslighting you, but it sounds a lot like he is gaslighting you now. This is what we real quick.
Yeah, let's get back to the
I mean, like I said,
culture.
the culture's not about bullying, it's about, being nice to each other.
Yeah, everyone feeling engaged, happy, not bullied,
Listening.
listening, yeah, wanting to come to work. Yeah, so I think our culture, see, I said it there, rather than TH,
I mean,
think,
would offend a whole group of people here, but I just assumed that was a Russian thing.
like free.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I say free,
In
as
it,
in the number
in it.
3 in the letter, the same,
Fuck.
free.
Well, look, so we're going
Anyway,
to try and shorten this down.
sorry.
so,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, I think our culture's always been good ever since I've been here. But yeah.
Imagine if this one goes viral. The other two that were fantastic from the offset are just...
Sorry, I'm talking too much. I don't know what to say. Yeah, our culture's always been good though, since I've been here, since we were smaller. And I think it's been important to try and keep that as we're growing. And I think we're doing a good job. We just need to keep on that track. And that's where my job comes in, really.
What would you say is... So I think that one of the hardest things in business is... I agree, one of our best things we have here is the culture and the people. I think the thing we struggle with, and I think a lot of businesses struggle with, is demonstrating that culture to external people and businesses.
Yeah,
whether it's
for sure.
attracting new talent, whether it's customer, trying to get a new customer.
Yeah.
It's such a hard thing, but it's such a great thing. But I find it, what tips do you think there is to get that to the world?
I mean,
After
that's...
3 days of marketing
Yeah, that's
for-
kind of what we're trying to do with the socials. We kind of, with the social media that we are putting out there, we want to kind of try and branch away from the more like what people would say is like the normal business posts,
Yes, yeah.
and try and resonate how we are as a company, because that's one of our main differentiators to other companies. So through things like meet the teams that we've been posting, we've been doing some...
Cheers for using the worst picture of me ever.
You look like Sideshow
He
Bob
actually
a little bit.
he
Yeah,
chose that
I
one.
didn't choose that. No one would have chosen that.
Well, Sideshow Bob.
Don't worry, we'll come back.
Actually, yeah, mine was pretty horrific as well, to be fair.
It
yeah.
wasn't.
Why you say that one was my turn?
Yours wasn't either.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, that, like, we've done the 5 questions with, which is coming soon, so everyone that is listening can keep their eyes peeled for that. To kind of just get to know the team a bit more through socials, like events through the company, and trying to document that as much as possible. We've been trying to do... It's hard, isn't it? Like, in a business, I think, to try and... because everyone's working and so busy, to have them moments where people can just have team days. It's difficult to get a balance of how much to do that, really.
And I think it's hard as well to have the accessibility to capture that raw culture. If you walk around with a cumbersome camera, or and be like, "Hey, Emily, do something cool."
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
a bit
It's
like
just going to be
Yeah.
awkward.
And people
it's
freak.
awkward, it's fake, it's real.
Yeah.
But there's stuff, like it's so hard to capture, like us all making pizza and pizza oven,
Yes.
us sitting around at lunch, talking to each other, like Alfie on the weird Segway go-kart.
Whatever that is.
You need to capture that raw. It can't be, you almost need that full-time videographer or
You do.
someone to capture the moment. It's so tricky, isn't it?
It is.
'Cause
And, sorry, I was just going to say, implementing a camera into a work environment as well it takes a while for people to get used to that.
Yeah.
Whereas if they see a camera, they're just going to be like,
Yeah.
and just freeze and don't know how to react
That's
naturally.
right, yeah.
And
I
that's,
think we've been quite lucky there.
Yeah.
Especially with I'm going to try and say this without offending people. A line of work in IT which is known for its introverted
Yeah,
people.
for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
We're quite lucky that we have always had a camera of some sort here. It's not unusual, if you and I walked around doing a video,
Yeah.
not many people would be like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's the norm now.
That is, yeah. That is part of our culture,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
like, so let's take like Lewis, for example, when he first joined us.
Yeah.
Had we have gone and stuffed a camera in his face
Yeah.
straight away, then he
Yeah.
would have been like, oh, this is really weird, an awkward place to work. But now that he's been here for 18 months
Yeah.
or whatever, and he
Yeah.
absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like not fazed by the fact like we might
Yeah.
walk around with the camera one day,
Exactly.
or this
People
is
barely
what
lift
happened.
their heads now.
Exactly, that's
It's
it.
just, they might ask what we're filming. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And they feel like it's involved.
Yeah.
And I think,
And that's what you want, I think, to be able to capture the culture as well as we can do to promote it externally. But yeah, I think it's going good. I think like we obviously another internal thing we obviously do for our culture is the engagement surveys,
Yes. Yeah.
which we've kind of moved away. We used to do, so we've been doing them probably about 2 years, haven't we? Because I started them near enough from the get-go when I went into this job. So we used to do them quarterly, and then we've just changed them to monthly, which I think is going to be a lot better to kind of see the patterns and trends of people. But yeah, like last month we got our second highest ever since we've been doing it.
my second highest what?
Which stat?
ESAT score. ESAT score, second highest. So that kind of shows everyone's engaged. That gives people a chance to voice their thoughts and feelings anonymously as well, which is another thing that I think works good with them surveys. Add comments, and then obviously we can see them. We can see it per department, heat maps. So it's good for
Yeah.
senior management to be able to see that and see where we can improve or what we're doing well, and try and keep that momentum going.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, being tech, a big thing for us is training and development.
Yeah.
And there's so much we have to keep on top of.
Yeah.
So tell us how we go about doing that and managing that process.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I think that we are ever growing and adapting to as we're getting bigger, and obviously we're more departmentalised than we used to be. So for me, managing that, I have to lean on a lot of people in SLT that are heads of the departments to help me where needed. We obviously have a skills matrix that we fill out for everyone and keep on top of. So that kind of allows us to highlight kind of the areas where certain members of staff or departments may be scoring less and struggling a bit more and may need some more training. We obviously do all of our induction training, don't we, when people come in, to kind of give them the basic standard levels. And then really it's kind of... I feel there's a word for it, and I can't think what it is, but
Probably got
there's
tea in it.
probably there is a couple of 3 different ways. I'm sure. Weren't me and you going through this? There was 3 different ways that you can get or training needs come up for you. Like one is through like people telling you themselves, like one-on-ones or in their appraisals.
Yeah, went through the line manager
One is-
identifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was another one.
It was the need of the company.
The needs of the company. Yeah.
Yeah. If we're looking to branch into a
If we
certain
need
area,
that.
if we
Yeah.
need this particular skill and
Yeah.
or we're lacking this particular
Yeah,
skill.
it was like we
then,
were
yeah.
saying the other day, like obviously Microsoft is going to be a big one for us, and things like on AI and things like that. We need to kind of try and stay ahead of the curve on them things. So I kind of rely on the more techie departments kind of letting me know, as well as obviously relying on the skills matrix and people's own feedback and development plans as well is another
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah, that's when I do like the development plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives obviously them a chance to tell us where
Yeah.
they might want to progress to in the long
Yeah.
run as well.
And there's
So
accountability there as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
You do, so we
that's
we
it.
do.
You can
It's
see
that.
it all documented. And
Yeah.
also, again, that goes back to a more happy culture because people feel like they're being listened to, and if they want to do some training and we're saying, yeah, you can go ahead and do that, that's another way to keep people happier and hopefully retain staff
yeah.
Absolutely.
as we go along. But
Good.
yeah.
I just realised there's something else we haven't spoke about that I think is pretty important. Have you noticed we now have a YouTube sensation in the building? Mr. Greg the Food.
Oh,
I was looking around as well. I was like, I copied you, that's why.
I was obviously taking
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a new YouTube sensation.
Well, sort of.
It's Instagram.
Having a go.
Yeah, your first
having a
Instagram
go.
reel popped off, Greg.
You know that I would bloody love for them, and I think you'll have to swear 3 times.
Okay, right.
Okay.
You know
so
I would bloody love for them to be shit. But they're great, aren't they?
They are very
They're
good.
really good.
Yes.
I think they're really
You're
good.
very
And I
good
think if
in
anyone
front of the
hasn't
camera.
checked these out, they should. They're informative. They're presented well. They're good. The
They're on
man
our
that didn't want to
YouTube,
do any of this is
Instagram and LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Throughout.
Oh, I'm all over the shop
Everywhere.
these
now.
days. Yep.
You know, you've got the Patreon and the Only.
The OnlyFans, yeah.
That's popping off.
That is.
That's absolutely popping
That is. I've got a waiting list on
Have
that at the
you?
moment, actually, yeah.
Alfie.
Precisely.
I'll blur that. I'll beat that. Yeah, I mean, you should have heard the first joke that came from there. Yes, and it was about you. But yeah, going well. That sort of stuff looks like you're.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, good.
It's fairly time consuming.
Yes.
But doing it out of office hours, some of it, writing scripts when I think of it. I've always had ideas of, I always think, I'd love to get that in front of customers or potential customers and things like that, and never really thought of an avenue to do that. Well, we all do.
Why are we all doing
Why are we all
We're
sitting
just,
like
we're
this?
just sitting there in podcast mode.
There we go, that's a bit better. But yeah, so I'd never thought of...
Triangle.
I never thought of video as an avenue to do that naively, and
Yeah.
then obviously because it's quite awkward anyway. Although we do walk around the camera often.
It's
Never.
still a different situation.
Yeah.
Talking in front of a camera, I think, to yourself is where it
That's a
feels
bit
awkward.
weird. Yeah.
You need to get used to that, and then once you start doing it a couple of times, it does get easier. But it is strange. And then if someone walks up and watches you, and you're just talking to a camera to yourself, it is.
That's it.
It's a new one, isn't it?
But yeah, hopefully, if people see me doing it again,
Yeah.
it rolls into the culture thing,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
if, for example, I wanted to ask Alfie or someone like that to go on one of the episodes and talk about
That's
something
it.
really geeky that he's into.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you'll be more inclined to
It's
do that.
I'd never asked you to do something I wouldn't.
I wouldn't do
Yeah.
myself, exactly, yeah.
For sure.
No, I actually hadn't thought about this until the other day. You were the first person I knew with a video camera.
Yeah, I probably was. Yep.
I'd never really thought
Really?
of it. Yeah, Greg was the first person to film and edit videos that I'd met. So,
Yep.
it's come full
So
circle.
you basically
now.
I used
took
to-
inspiration from Greg.
Yeah, randomly.
I mean, I've always been in Greg's shadow, essentially, apart from when he went to the mountains and high rocks and athletic stuff. Other than that, yeah, absolutely.
I used to nick my dad's video camera when I lived in Plymouth years ago, and me and my mates just used to go and film random stuff, pretend we were actually filming a film,
Right.
An action film, in his back garden. This is
right.
when I was 9 or something like that, with a massive JVC camera.
Nice.
So yeah, I've always
If you-
quite liked that sort of
If
thing.
you ever get super famous, Netflix are just going to buy all this footage and
Basically.
make the best documentary ever.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's good to know, isn't it?
It is.
That's it. Yeah, and back to the culture though.
Back to
Yeah.
the
Away
culture.
from me. Yeah.
Yeah. What more do you want to know?
What don't we want to know?
Yeah. What?
So exciting.
So obviously we have people join the business,
Yeah.
and the way I see it is they join the business thinking, oh yeah, great office environment, but they never. Well, what strikes me is that they think they're going into what I'm going to call a normal
Yeah.
environment. Not that we're
Yeah.
weird, but
Yeah.
and then do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I
completely.
don't know what I'm trying to say.
They get
but
taken by surprise and
And
they're like,
it's-
wow,
yes,
that's
is
it.
this...
Yeah.
and
It's
people-
very corporate. Is that the
Yeah.
right word?
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of new starters have commented in the first week
Yeah.
that
Is this real?
Is this
kind
real?
of,
Mm.
yeah.
is this, and then they'll see
Yeah.
everyone that there is a balance between having fun but really focusing on the client,
Yeah.
making sure we deliver
Yeah.
great service and all that sort of stuff. But yeah,
I think what we do really well here, and kudos to you two, is we give people a lot of flexibility and trust quite quick, which is not a bad thing at all. Once they've earned it, they get that trust and they kind of don't get micromanaged. They don't get the hand held unless they obviously need to. But do you know what I mean? Like we do that very well, so people feel trusted and valued in the company, which then resonates to the culture, and then so it's all a big circle. It's all a big cog turning round. But I think, yeah, obviously when we recruit, we are using our values that we've got. Like I don't know if we've spoken about that. Like, when did you guys make? That was before I was in SLT, wasn't it? So
it was, yeah. It was July 21. It was when we just moved into this building. Then. I think we all sat down.
Yeah, so it must have just been before. But obviously,
that's when we refreshed. We had like loose ones before, but they weren't adhered to. And stuff,
but we've obviously got our core six. I'm just thinking it is 6 now. Yeah, values that we've got. No, I probably do know them. I think.
Well, you started.
I'm going to embarrass myself now. Okay.
They are written just there.
Yeah.
Sure
No, I can't actually see them from here. Be versatile, accountable, respectful, inspirational, team player, and have fun.
Correct. Well done.
I should know them, really, shouldn't I?
Really, yeah.
But we use them to. You looked at me really surprised, and like you thought I was going to.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. But we use them obviously when we're recruiting to kind of try and make sure that new starters will be a good fit to the business and fit in with our culture and align and adhere to our values. Obviously, sometimes you can't always get it right from an hour, not even an hour, half hour, 45-minute interview. But we try and our best to do that to kind of eliminate the risk of them not fitting in with the company and the culture, which I think overall we've done really well as well. Everyone here everyone kind of helps each other, don't they? Everyone seems to get on. We don't really have many dramas between people here or things like that. Which offices normally are a hub for toxicity and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what we try and do is we try and employ based on the values, obviously, knowing that you can teach someone the role, but you can't teach that person to be a nice person. You know, if someone fits the values perfectly, we can teach them
train them
what's needed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's especially important at sort of apprenticeship level and things like that. You get them in, you can really mould those people.
Yeah, definitely.
And change them.
I think even before we had the values, like 2-3 years ago, you've always kind of done that when you've recruited people. Would you agree? Like, even from when I started, like 7-8 years ago, like, how did you, I'm flipping the questions on Zeno, how did you do it then? Like, how did you decide they're a good fit? Not just me then, other people. Like Neil, your first ever hire, like, did you know how did you know then he'd be a good fit for Tafoo and how you wanted it to grow? Because he's now a director, so...
good question.
I mean, it's down to us.
Basically.
Sure.
Basically. Well, I think we've always said, like, we can train people on the technicalities and we can train someone on how to use a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
But you can't train someone to be sound, and you can't train someone to be like-minded. You know, like, and it's just about us recognising that on the first few meetings when we've met these people.
Yeah.
Pending, obviously, a few months worth of like, probationary period and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think 90% of the time we're a decent judge of character.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so, and I think. You can pretty much, like you said, half an hour is like not much of a time, but real world terms, it takes 5 minutes to get a gauge of someone, doesn't it? You know, you can tell by...
Generally.
And especially as our interviews are never... We try and make them just not super formal, we try and make it, hi, how's it going? Don't worry too much, it's just a chat. And you can see the way they...
Put them at ease straight away,
And also, interestingly enough, it's very much for them to check that we're the right fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've had a few people interview here that we knew weren't the right fit instantly, but so did they. And they were very much like, I love what you've got going on here, it seems amazing, it's not for me. You know, I come from this 800 million turnover corporate wheel, I want to be that corporate thing. And that's absolutely fine, isn't it? It saves all the thing.
That's it.
I think it's just about, and it's also about taking a chance.
Yes, yeah.
You know?
That's what probationary period is for.
Exactly.
You know, we try not to leave it to the last minute before you need that hire.
Yes.
And therefore, you've got
a bit of freedom and time to make the right choice that benefits the business the
Another
most.
thing we've sort of done, and this was inherited from the previous employer, is that we've tended to look to hire people like Greg said, not before we need that role, but if we just see someone that we think,
yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder what they do.
Almost proactively, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
if someone's, one of the geeky guys has a mate and they sort of bring them in, and it's like, these were really well. Finley, let's talk about Finley.
Yes.
Finley turned up on work experience. Finley's our latest and greatest
Apprentice now,
apprentice.
isn't he?
Yeah. Turned up on work experience, as they all do. I'm not going to slate work experience people, but 9 times out of 10, it's
Yeah.
just work experience.
Yeah.
But then occasionally you get that person,
Yeah.
and you just know within minutes, and you're like, they've just asked me how my day was. They've interacted. They're 16 years old. They're keen to learn. I can see them writing notes down.
Exactly, yeah. They want to come back when they're on holidays.
Yes,
school holidays
exactly.
or whatever.
The first question is, can I come back? I don't want to be paid. I just want to come back to the holidays and learn more.
Yeah.
Well, that was him, wasn't it? How long was he doing work experience for? A good weeks, months, weren't it?
It was months, yeah. 'Cause
on his own accord.
Exactly, yeah. He had a couple of days off a week from
Yeah.
college, and then he just gradually increased how long he was here until he was
Bless
part of the
him.
furniture,
Until
and
he
we couldn't
couldn't.
say no, and then
And it's very clever because
Yeah.
then you become reliant on that.
yeah, that's it.
And you're like, how come
It's a good way
tickets are
to
so
do
high
it.
today? What's going on? Well, Finley's at college.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's in now.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now we need.
Right,
we know
now,
we need
now,
him.
I mean, the same story with Alfred, same story with Elliot. It's the same. Those ones bully their way in.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly, yeah.
They make the job, and I think we've learned from that if you see someone's CV and they seem pretty good, even if you're not ready to hire yet. And funny enough, as you're on the podcast, I think that was very similar by accident almost with yourself.
Yeah, I know.
I think that we took you on to cover Chantal during maternity for the
Yeah.
accounts, and we identified that you were quite sort of stumbling for something nice to say. You were all right, really.
Yeah.
No, but you were very.
Did a job, didn't you?
What are you good at?
I don't know.
Very versatile.
Versatile and very nice, and everyone got on with you, and you were getting the work done. And then I remember having a chat with Greg, and it was time you were leaving. We were like, but I'd love to keep her, but
Yeah, that's it.
we haven't got a job for her.
Yeah.
And it turned out we didn't have a job for you for
Yeah.
4 years. But you were here just doing...
Different bits, yeah.
And I think that's sort of the best thing that ever happened, because it means you can go around the departments and say this and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think in the sort of senior leadership side of it, you can be that independent voice for more of it.
Yes,
Not
yeah.
know masses amount about that, but you've done that for a little while. And I think that just shows you just need to be versatile in your hiring approach and not, it's like we were talking today about the traction stuff. Get the right people in the right seats and just be aware that may not be straight away.
Yeah,
but
or where you stay. But
Or where
Yeah,
you
it might
stay,
not be
but-
their forever seat, depending on what angle the business takes. And
Exactly, and that person's progression.
Yeah.
We've got other people here that have been in the same role since they started, and they won't leave. They won't change. Matt is never going to leave that workshop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare to ask it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
his job satisfaction is sky high. I mean, he's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
content. He loves what he does. I don't think he'd want to if
Yeah,
he
he's
tried
worked
to.
up
but
till he dies,
wouldn't
isn't
like
he?
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
if
he
we
absolutely
said to
loves
him-
it.
So that's
yeah.
why
Yeah.
you need a balance of people that want to progress or change, and then you need the key players that are in their roles.
Solid,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's no harm in that. No one's better or worse.
Exactly.
We've rambled, haven't we?
We have, yeah. I was going
Yeah.
to say this. We probably need to start to wrap it up, but I wanted to just quickly talk about one thing because we talked about like the apprentices,
Yeah.
and that's something I feel we've been also quite good at is growing from within.
Yes, 100%.
But mainly talking about like mentorship, like mentoring, because that's something I think you're really good at. Because there have been you, because there have been a handful. No, there have been a handful, particularly the younger guys coming up who have had struggles, both getting to grips with like full-time employment, but also in their own personal selves, lives and things like that. And you've been really good at mentoring them, putting them on the right path, bringing them through,
Good,
teaching
right,
them. No, teaching. Yeah, have.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, and that echoes throughout the business as well.
Right, yeah. I think that's
And through the culture, should I say?
For sure.
thanks, guys. I think it helps breed a stronger team though,
For sure.
because it shows you can stand by
I think it's
them.
important that you two are approachable, and you are. Like, I think that as well helps to build the team that we've got, because everyone you treat everyone with respect, both of you. No matter what the job role is, how
What
long
are you
they've been. No, that is genuine though. You do. No matter how long they've been here, where they are in the company, you guys always treat them with respect. And I think people always know that they can come to you if they need to. I think that's as well a good
I think that's
thing that we've got.
very kind of you to say. Thank you. But I think it's a must.
Yeah. But some businesses don't. Some people.
And you see it.
businesses,
I mean,
directors
we're
won't.
in that
Yeah.
unique position that not many companies are. That we've been to more businesses than many people because it's our job to go to their offices,
Yeah.
fix their computers,
Yeah.
see it, and some of them you walk into and you're like, you know, luckily not any of our clients at the moment, but I remember one from back in the day specifically that isn't actually around anymore, but you used to go in there and hear the creak
Pin
of
drop.
floorboards
literally,
as
yeah.
you walked, and you used to just think, oh my god, imagine this for 8 hours, and the boss would walk in and the place would just get smaller.
Yes.
And you'd just be like, oh my gosh. Or then you'd go to the opposite, you'd go to these places, and I remember one office had do you remember, this isn't my view, this is what I just saw, but do you remember the old calendar with the topless ladies?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And they had one of those in the office. And it was like, this is going back a fair while, but it was like, I mean, I'm not like of the woke generation by any means, but I was a bit like, I don't think that's...
I'm not sure that's appropriate.
I'm not sure have that. That's
You've
fine.
got women on your staff.
Yeah, and it was predominantly women in this place.
Right,
And it was like,
Yeah.
this is a bit, and it made me feel weird being in there. But I think it is about being approachable and respectful,
sure.
because you need, the last thing you need is something happening in the business and no one wanting to tell you if you're not approachable, and you find out 6 months later that,
definitely.
you know, I think it's all about, and I think what you've done well is bring that methodology of communication to us if they don't want to come speak to us. There's now more avenues to do that. And,
There's
and
stepping
anonymously,
stones
if they want to, they can fill out this form. And what I think has happened really well recently is the quarterly meetings that you do, we go over the things that people have said.
Yeah.
So they don't just fill out this form and nothing happens. It's like, hey, we saw that. In fact, you're telling us this, so we're now doing this. And I think that's really good. I think that's, if you get the team on board, then,
Exactly.
you know, it lightens the load for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and we all know that employee satisfaction links so closely to customer satisfaction as well. If you've got a happy workforce, that's going to project onto the level of service they give to our customers.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one last sort of thing. I think people can hear over the phone someone happy.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
If they like and you know when we get visits here.
Yeah.
You know, people are always like, oh, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is. You've got an office, like an office.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man. And I think sometimes we take that for granted, and I think sometimes we forget the culture.
Yes.
Because we are part of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I imagine like starring in Friends. You sort of don't realise how big Friends is because you're in it.
Yeah.
But only when you look from the outside, that, you know, people come in and they're like, I'd love to work there. You're like, yeah, it's wicked. But it's only when you and I were talking earlier about what a great place it is to be and all that sort of stuff. And it's, you know, and it's so hard to keep reminding people that here, isn't it? You know. Right, should we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Why don't you do a little teaser of what's on the next podcast for everyone?
Well, I don't know.
What is on the next podcast?
Also,
Shall I get my calendar
for you know, clarity.
Did you put them in there?
Emily's now in charge of booking podcasts.
Yes, so it will happen.
We've got big enough now to
They will
have a
happen.
booking agent.
Is it bi-weekly? That's every 2 weeks, right? Is that right? Or is
Correct.
that twice a week?
No, bi-weekly. Bi-weekly
That's
every
why I'm
other
not
week.
in any techie stuff. Yes, so bi-weekly.
I've forgotten how to
It's
use a
Alfie,
calendar.
I think.
Who's in?
Sure, it's Alfie.
Lewis.
Oh, okay. Alfie's one after. I've just given him a sneak preview of 2. There you go. You got Lewis on.
We've got Lewis on, so that's going to be sales related.
Sales.
Salesy.
Good, actually.
It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to
Business
talk
development.
about some common things we see
Yeah.
The blockers.
rather than what we do, maybe.
I
Yeah,
think
some
so.
blockers and things
The
like
blockers that we commonly see, and trends,
Yeah.
industry trends and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And it's and he's a very different to us, Lewis. So I think that'd be good. That'd be a good dynamic. But you've been good.
Thanks.
You were a bit nervous about being on this, and it's come
Thanks.
across well, I thought.
Thanks.
that. Might get Lewis an ale to sit here on the podcast.
You could do.
Yeah,
could actually do that. Yeah, I probably won't have one.
One of
if
his
you
new
know, you know.
strapping
Yeah.
suits.
Yeah, yes.
One of
yeah.
his what? Sorry.
His new strapping suits that he's got.
He could. You could. Maybe we could dress up.
Maybe all to wear suits.
Maybe we could dress up as Santa and we could be elves for Christmas.
I was thinking DJs, but him in his suit. But
yeah, we could do that. Are we going to have a Christmas one?
Yeah, for sure.
A Christmas themed one where we dress up as something.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Coin toss for Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
I'll be up for that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've dressed in worse.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've seen it. I was at your stag do.
Oh yeah.
I was there.
So if they want to see that, what have they got to do? They've got to like.
I like.
They've got to subscribe.
You can tell someone is media trained and has over 16,000 followers, right? So if this video gets more than 100 likes, Greg will do the next podcast in a gimp suit.
Deal.
Oh dear God.
I'm going to buy those. Look, we should do that. What should we do if it gets over 100? No, what should we say? The last one got 1 like. So what would be a realistic number? 10.
It got 1 like.
25.
25.
Push for 25.
Yeah.
So if we get 25...
Hold on, no, because there's 25 people here, so they'll all just go on and like it, and I'll have to do something horrendous.
It's still traction.
True, yeah.
30
No, we can
then.
both be in it together.
All right, 25.
What do we have to do?
Well, it should be something Christmassy. Mr. and Mrs. Claus is quite funny, no?
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, all right, deal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have to be Mr. and Mrs. Claus if we get 25 likes.
Or Grinch. That'd be amazing.
He didn't need to dress up for that, that's the thing.
True.
I knew, as soon as that Grinch thing came out, here we go again.
No, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, that's funny.
Okay, and you're going to be the Grinch.
No.
You can just make a guest appearance as the Grinch. Right, 3 final words on you about culture.
No, don't put me on the spot.
You're
Consistent. All right.
Literally on the spot.
Consistency. And consistency.
Empathy.
Empathy, yeah, and listening skill. I know it's 2, but listening skills.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say free pizza.
Yeah,
Free
true.
pizza.
Free pizza is everything, right? Excellent. Well, that was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Well done.
Well, everyone else pulled out. So,
Last resort. Yeah.
do you want to plug your gram quick?
No.
No?
No.
Shall I do it? Give away your secrets? No?
No, thank you.
No. You want to plug your OnlyFans?
I told you, I've got a waiting list.
Just go.